Okay, so we flushed the inside of the cooling manifold, and that's what it looks like in there. It's got some calcium, but it's not that bad. This thing was heavily built up with gunk and mud and crud, and I've been working on it for more than half an hour with a screwdriver trying to chip it away. And they've got, I think 3 kinds of metal here: cast iron, brass, and what appears to be steel. And this tube here, I managed, it was rotten enough that I could stick the screwdriver through it and put a hole in it. And this section of the tube from here to here is occluded, at least. I can blow through it hard, but I can't barely get any water to go through it with a hose, which has got a fair amount of pressure. So I'm going to take this home, and I'm going to soak it in dilute hydrochloric acid for a little bit, get the rest of the crud off, put it in a vise, take this brass right-angle nipple off, take a drill bit and run it up through the straight section of this thing to get that clear, and into this end of this nipple if it's clogged up, which I think it probably is. So that'll get those passages all free all the way through. Then I think I'm going to take something like, once this is clean, I'll take a wax straw or something and stick it on the inside, something epoxy won't stick to, and I'll build this back up with epoxy, just so it seals and the water comes out at this end where it's supposed to. And then I'll pull a straw back out, because the epoxy won't stick to wax paper, if I can find a wax paper straw anymore. Either that or a dowel with some wax paper wrapped around it. So that's going to be the fix, and that'll work pretty good. There's not, the water pressure in here is not high, but I want the full flow, and I want it to go where it's directed. Get this thing, we've chipped away. This was all full of crud, so I don't know if the was enough room for that thermostat to open, but there sure is now. But we'll get it nice and clean, and that'll be, I think, probably a good reliable fix. But eventually we'll find another cast iron piece like this and replace this. It's only held in with 2 bolts and 2 hoses, so it's real easy to do. You can see it just comes right off in 3 minutes. So we'll scout around for a new piece, but in the meantime we'll repair this one. And I think if I get this nice and clean and bright in there, that some JB weld or some other kind of steel reinforced epoxy will bond to that well and be very strong. And as long as it's got a hole in the middle so the water comes out this end instead of here, I think we'll be good. Probably wouldn't matter if this hole was here anyway, but they made it that way for a reason, so we'll make it work that way. So that's what we got. Everything else has been flushed. Not worried about it at all. There's no kind of black water or anything coming out of the cylinder jackets or anything, so I think that this thing was jammed up enough that whatever bay mud got in the system when we tried to run it at low tide stopped right there. So I think we're going to be just fine. And when we get this back together and with the new, I've had the new thermostat for months. So I'll put the new thermostat in here after I repair this, and I'll replace the impeller in the water pump. We'll see what it looks like when I take it apart, and then we should be in real good shape.